Welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, and track by track. And Frode, Chris, and Trond here, we are going for yet another Sparks album, starting on Interior Design, their 15th album, released in August 1988. And we discussed the album history now on a podcast episode. So if you want to hear more about how this album came about, you should go and look us up on podcast, on your favorite podcast. So, so short story, they built their own studio around 1980 or before this album was released. So this is the first album they record in their new studio. They bring in a couple of helpers, John Thomas, engineer, and some keyboard playing some keyboard on this album, and he would be with Sparks for many years forward as a sort of assistant, you could say, engineer. And we have a guitarist, Spencer Surcombe, who plays a little bit guitar, and also Pamela Stonebrook doing some vocal work. But other than that, this album is made entirely by Ron and Russell Mal, the two brothers. Yeah.
Which is quite impressive, because I would say this feels more like a band concept than the previous album.
Well, in a way, you could say that.
Yeah.
It's also an album that I've talked down quite a bit, although I must admit that when I now have listened to quite a bit, recently, I changed my stance on that. I might even have mentioned that in some previous episodes, some albums ago, that I kind of dreaded coming to this album, but I must admit that it's much better than I first thought. So it'll be interesting to see how Chris reacts to this, hearing this album now for the first time.
Yeah, because I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, as usual, I've never heard any of this album before. And when we recorded the introduction to the album, there's a lot of things that sort of sparks my interest here. Tickles my mind. This is a sort of a forgotten Sparks album. That's how you framed it, at least. An album that they recorded themselves, they released themselves. It didn't sell much. Some critics liked it. Others are panning it, or at least not giving it much.
It is the lowest rated Sparks album on many lists.
Yeah. Yes, but that could also be because it doesn't get much attention. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. So lots of things that makes this album sound interesting.
Yeah.
It could very well be a good album.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. You're already sold.
I am. I think I've been mentioning that.
You championed this album.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was also very surprised, because I never imagined that this would be rated as low as it has.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me. So it's a bit curious, but I guess maybe it is, as you say, since it's not widely known. So,
and also, as we mentioned in the podcast episode, it could be that the time it was released, 1988. Mm-hmm. I would say when you look at discographies of many artists, albums that were released in those years may often be quite low on lists.
1988 was maybe not the greatest year for music or for interior design.
There was a lot of good albums in 1988. It must have been.
On Radio Music, this album is rated as just below number 1200 for 1988.
Okay, yeah.
So you could say the community thinks that there are at least 1,200 albums that are better in 1988. So
yeah, that probably
must have been a good year then.
Yeah. No, I mean it's the year of Pixies, and The Cave had a great album, and NWA.
It's kind of like almost like a different world, right? All the electronic artists and.
Yeah, and you have the start of the kind of 90s.
It is primarily the
Summer of Love and Rave in UK.
The older artists, 60s, 70s artists, when the transitions into 80s, when they maybe wasn't as successful for everyone. But we have the first track coming up, and that's the lead single on the album, as so many times on Sparks' album. A song called So Important. That was released with multiple remixes. We might maybe touch upon at least one of them afterwards. But I don't think we have a lot more to say about the album. There isn't a lot much history around the album itself. We talked also a little bit about how this big gap between Terry Design and the next album in 1994, Gratuitous Sex and Senseless Violence. 6 years there, and how they basically spent those years with the musical movie My the Psychic Girl, and which unfortunately never happened, and how they spent basically 5-6 years on that project alone. It's quite amazing. But now, first track.
Let's go for the single.
I'm ready.
Let's start then. So Important. Let's go.
Make it easy,
important. Oh, that was an interesting song. Thumbs up. I liked it. Yeah. I think it was a good song. On the first listen, it's not that super immediate, but there's a lot of things to like. So I would like to hear it again, and I think maybe immediately you're just maybe thinking or listening too much on the production. So the song is.
It's very 1988.
It's very 1988.
Late 80s.
It's so extremely 1988. So that almost takes the you think about the production more than the song. Well, at least I did in the beginning, but then I started to get into the song. No, I like that song. But that was a good opening. Nice to hear some guitar for once. At least four heavy spurts of guitar.
Even a solo.
Even a solo, yeah.
Guitar solo.
And a nice chorus, nice verse. What's not to like?
Yeah, no, it's a solid opener.
Yeah, I love this opener. And you mentioned that you got hung up in the production. Does it sound dated to you?
Well, it has that slightly tinny sound of late 80s synthesizer.
Yeah.
My mind popped into Optical Race by Tangerine Dream, where there was some, computer programming, early computer programming, and that sounds a bit more tinnier than the synthesizer or the analog synthesizers of the early 80s. So there's some clear or audible change in the production there, and I think this reminded me of that. And but you also got this almost Edgar Froese-ish guitar playing here, so that's another Tangerine Dream.
Tangerine Dream vibes.
Yeah. Yes, Tangerine Dream vibes. Yeah, and for some reason I also thought about Stevie Ray Vaughan on the Let's Dance album. Maybe because it's
I get that.
Yeah, where just sudden very short solos and some similar.
So are you saying, Ton, that it doesn't feel dated?
It doesn't.
It does sound very 80s, at least.
It sounds 80s, but I guess I'm listening to so much music from this this day and age that I don't really notice if
it's
that's the
case.
Always
relevant for you.
I'm very happy with this production, and it's very spacey. You can kind of pick out the elements one by one if you would like to, and it's also, but not spacey in a way that things feel distant from each other. Everything feels connected, and it's catchy. It has energy, and
it does.
And I really like the that goes through.
As well.
Interesting thing to add in such a song, but it really works.
Could go wrong, but works for me as well. I really like that that thing.
Yeah, no, it's a song I come to like as well. It's catchy. It's maybe not their best single or first single, but still, it's a solid track. It's I can't really find much to pick on here in a way. Maybe the production, as you said, but that there's no way around it. Around that. It is made in 1988, so why shouldn't it sound like 1988, right?
No, I'm not picking on the
No, I understand what you mean.
That's an aesthetic choice, but it
sometimes that doesn't always go age that well. So
sometimes it comes in the way so that you notice the production before you notice the song. But that's the first listen thing. So when you listen to it a lot, you will see past that.
Lyric-wise, one of the lyrics that isn't maybe as typical Sparks in the sense of humor and things that we often look for in a Sparks song.
if you read the 4 last lines. It isn't that I'm ugly, it isn't that I'm dense, but if it takes a cheap tawdry scene to make you see what I mean. I couldn't really imagine anyone else writing that.
No, I'm not saying that this is standard lyrics or anything like that. But yeah, in a way, they are one of the more straightforward lyrics that Sparks have. And not that there's not anything negative in that. Man and the relationship, finding his partner maybe a bit more interesting than himself. It's what I get from it. But I was also thinking, it's never mentioning a person here, really. We're just assuming here that he's talking about a pure person, but because they now are in a point in their music career where they're not doing that well, could they be talking about sort of music itself and their career? Because they're talking about here,
or is it a person
kills
talking
your self-esteem and they're depending on it, and they feel a bit useless maybe, and they're begging for some success.
But since you're mentioning that, it's almost like a person looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Talking to himself instead.
Maybe it isn't as straightforward as it is, which is often quite the case as well with Sparks.
And that is the single cover. You have...
It's a single cover.
A single cover, yeah.
So this single was released in US, France, and UK. The single itself didn't do much on the main charts. This is the 7-inch version that was released in UK and France, and it does say career there in the bottom. So that was released on that company, and had the album version. It's no single edits. Album version on the A side, and the B side is a 2-minute long instrumental called the Big Brass Ring. And
but the cover there could have been the cover for Rosebud.
Yes.
Yeah, this
I know.
Exactly, and we see our hand stretched out, holding a snow globe, which we can only assume is Ron's, because we know he is a snow globe collector.
Yeah, of course.
Inside we see the two brothers.
Yeah, how come it's not a cover for Rosebud?
Maybe it's a leftover from the last album.
Maybe.
Could be.
Could be.
So this is the cover for the American 12-inch version. Or not the American, it's the 12-inch version. It was released in US, UK, and France as well. That's a lovely cover.
I can imagine from the sound just now from Chris that he would like this to be the album cover as well.
I like the album cover, and I like this as well.
Yeah.
It's
Old
looks
interior.
like an old jazz record.
It does. Something from Blue Note.
Yeah. Beautiful.
The yellow color there, it really makes a difference with that yellow box.
Yeah.
Transparent box over there. So that's the cover. We have the back side here, I think. So we see the mixes. Extremely important mix, the main mix, almost 7 minutes long. And then incredibly important mix.
Have you heard them?
Yeah, I think we will take a brief listen to the extremely important mix, actually.
Only the important parts.
Only the important parts. The extremely important one is more different than the incredibly important one, which is maybe more like an extension of the album version. But extremely important mix is really mixed. It's some changes there, and
we can see the tiniest portraits of Ron and Russell.
Yeah, and these are the two images that I assume is taken by Christy Hayden, their future drummer in the 90s. We also see the label on the
Fine Art
and their Fine Art logo with Mona Lisa on it. Extremely Important is actually a bonus track on this album, so I'm just going to pick it here from Spotify. 7 minutes long. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but we can get an idea of how it goes.
was great.
That's essentially it.
I liked it.
It's very club friendly.
I'm gonna go and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very club friendly. In fact, it's so club friendly that it became a hit on dance clubs in the US. It reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot Dance Music Club Play chart in August 1988, which is quite impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great song, so why not? But given that other part of the album or the single itself didn't do much, the club scene at least likes Sparks at around this time. And even I think this might be also the first CD single they release. It was released on CD single, and here we actually have a single version edit.
Oh,
so it's about a minute or so shorter, and there's also an edit of this mix. It's about 4:30 long.
It's kind of curious that they did the edit version
on
the CD.
I think the Mona Lisa image here is actually the CD cover. If
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not mistaken. And then in 1989, it was actually released again in UK and France with a different cover, which isn't that impressive.
That's actually ghastly.
That's really horrible.
And this time it was the extremely important mix, the single version, and Just Got Back from Heaven, Heaven Can Wait mix. That's the next single.
Yeah.
One of the mixes from there. So we are now definitely into territory where collectors is starting to struggle a bit more.
I mean, I would struggle just to buy this with this cover.
Yeah.
Just ignore it.
I think I'd go for the 50s interior, 60s interior look.
Or the beautifully well done
Yeah.
US maxi single.
But they did, of course, make a music video for it.
Hey,
We have
they
to-
did.
To watch it.
Good.
Okay.
So let's jump into that too and see how that goes. I wonder who that is playing the guitar. Rickenbacker?
No. Something else?
That's great.
amazing.
It's a nice video, and the song was maybe even more catchier now. So
Yeah, second time
I
around.
think this will grow. This will grow.
It will definitely grow.
Yeah, and then something about this mix also. Maybe it sounded even a bit more punchier. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sound quality is a bit poorer.
I think so.
in this video, but
So that makes it less thinner.
more muddy sound. Yeah.
I really like this song, and a very cool video as well. And even though it's not much happening, and but maybe that, I don't know what that says. We can laugh at the kids today who just scroll through their TikToks, and but we actually there was a highlight of the day watching new video from artists we liked, even though it was simple things like this.
And you can watch them over and over,
taping them on the VHS, and so I don't know what that says about our generation, but
simple, and obviously they made it themselves, like they did with Music You Can Dance to video.
Obviously, made in an afternoon.
And it's funny you mentioned like
I don't think it was made in an afternoon. I think it was a lot of work getting that video.
Must have been more than an afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah,
2 afternoons.
But it's funny you mentioned with today's generation, because I could see quite a lot of scenes in here which could have been perfect, like just like short gifs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Ron dancing, clapping his hands, and doing this.
Ron is made for gifs.
Yeah. Gifs and memes, right? That would be perfect with Sparks.
Ron's movements. There's something David Byrnish with it as well.
Yeah,
The suit also maybe Russell's suit.
Yeah,
looks slightly. It's not David Byrne sized, but it's getting there.
It is
on the way.
They're both tiny or very skinny people, I think, at least back in the days.
Yeah, and I love because some of these photos just seem completely random.
It's kind of a theme of the album, I guess. These vintage photos.
Yeah,
that they use in different. They probably had maybe these were other photos that they were considering. They could just collect a lot of vintage photos and then decided on one of them for a cover.
Could be.
And then used the rest of them in the music video.
Take what we have.
It's not a song that has been performed regularly live, except at one time. Although they did perform it on TV a little bit because of the promote the single KNBC TV show on the Fritz in October 1988, where they were actually joined by David Kendricks, their old drummer, on stage for only that one. And when they played it in France, they played it together with Lerita Mitsuko. They also released a single with and contributed to their album produced by Tony Visconti the same year.
Have you tried to look for that? Or
the album?
No, the TV performance.
Yeah, not sure if I found it or not. I didn't find it interesting enough, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a little bit funny. You have Ron sometimes smiling and being very Ron in many of these.
Yeah.
And before we end it with something that is also very Ron, we can mention that there is one cover version of it. It was on the Amateur Hour tribute album back in 1999, played here by Peter Koenig, who I think did several versions. Not versions, but several covers on the same album. It's quite true to the original. Then in the end here, we have Ron.
Begging isn't easy. It kills your self-esteem. Makes you feel dependent. It makes you feel mean. But subtlety is useless in breaking down a wall, and subtlety is toothless. You'd rather see me crawl. So if it takes a flashy display to make you warm up, okay, because you're so important to me right now. This discrimination, it's cruel and inhumane. If I had any pride left, I'd say you were insane. If only you would love me or just be less intense. It isn't that I'm ugly. It isn't that I'm dense. But if it takes a cheap, tawdry scene to make you see what I mean, because you're so important to me right now. If it takes a cheap, tawdry scene to make you see what I mean, you're so important to me right now.
Yeah.
Speaking the truth.
Yeah, poetry.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I have more to say about it. Great opener.
Great opener.
Solid opener it is.
As always. Mm.
So, yeah, leave us a comment below and let us know what you think of this opening track and single. We'll be back with the next single and the next track in a couple of days, called Just Got Back from Heaven. And until then, you must have a big thank you for joining us and listening and watching. And until we're back, you must have a great day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We'll soon be back from
Heaven.
From the interior
Yeah.
of the studio.
We'll be back.